Morning, ducks. Morning, everyone. It is a nice, cool morning here this morning. Definitely feels like fall. So I need to go let the animals out of the barn. And today I took a vacation day. Morning, everyone. Time to get up, chickens. Morning, goats. Oh, the turkeys are ready to go. There you go. Get out of there, Leia. All right, time to go outside. Come on. Come on. Come on, Tom. Yeah. So last night I ended up bidding on an online auction, and I ended up winning quite a few things. So I ended up getting some more metalworking tools for the shop, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to go pick those up and get those back in the workshop. So after today, I should basically have my own little home machine shop when we're done, and I think that's really going to help me out trying to fix some of this equipment and stuff, being able to have some of these extra tools. All right, I think I've got about everything I need. So, you know, when you bid on one of these auctions, you're ultimately responsible for being able to get everything out and moved and hauled away. They don't really have to necessarily help you. Now, at this auction, they do have a skid steer that's going to be there to help move some of the bigger pieces of equipment. So at least that's going to be handy, because I'm going to try to be doing this by myself. So the skid steer being there is going to definitely be handy for sure. Now, I did bring tools with me, because you never know if you need to take something apart or unbolt it from a workbench. So I've got a bunch of tools in here in case I need them. I ended up buying a bunch of smaller stuff, and of course that's going to be dirty and oily and rusty and stuff like that. So I've got some totes in here so I can just put all the smaller tooling and tools in the totes. And I think I've also brought some dollies just in case I need to move. I can put it on a dolly and roll it around if it's real heavy. So I've tried to bring everything that I could possibly need. I think the only thing left, I may get some straps to be able to lift some of the bigger stuff with the skid steer. I'd rather have straps probably around some of this stuff if I need to. Less chance in damaging anything. But basically I'm going to take a chance today that everything will fit in the truck. I'm pretty sure that I can get everything in those totes and in the back of the truck, and if not, I guess I'll just have to go back for a second load, but I think everything will fit in there. So let me just grab a couple straps and I think we're ready to go. Well guys, I just got back from picking up stuff at the auction, and you can see I've got the truck completely full, and then the bed is full also. I wasn't able to actually get everything. I didn't realize that the workbench was actually going to come with one of the tools, and that ended up filling up the bed. So I need to get all this unloaded and put in the pole barn to go back and get the last piece of equipment. Oh, that's heavy. I was afraid it was going to roll on me. The weight's not even, but I think I got it now. All right, I got the lathe unloaded, and it was very awkward to try to lift. It did rotate on me, but I got it out of the truck and got it on the workbench. So now I need to go back and get the last piece of equipment. So I just got back with the last piece of equipment, and this is a milling machine. It's for metalworking. And then the other piece of equipment that we brought in the first trip, that was a metalworking lathe. And then everything in the totes and in the boxes and all the other stuff that was in the inside of the truck, that's all different fixtures and toolings and chucks and accessories, just all a bunch of stuff to be able to use the lathe and to be used the mill. You know, so I think I'm pretty well set up where I can really be able to actually make things on both of these machines. But right now, I need somewhere to put the mill. I don't have a bench to put it on. So I think I just built that brand new welding table, and it is heavy duty. I think for now, I'm just going to set the mill on top of the welding table until I can get some kind of workbench or some, you know, heavy duty bench made up to put the mill on for a permanent spot. But for right now, we'll just stick it on the welding table. Sounds a lot heavier. Sure. Just a magnet. Well, it appears that it does work. Now the switch has two selections. I figure it means two different speeds on the motor. But apparently just one speed is working. You can tell they've kind of wired on it a little bit different, so that may be why. But this is a 2 horsepower motor on this mill. Now this is a mill that it's not a recognizable name. There's not much information out there, but it was a 2 horsepower. So that, to me, that's a fairly good sized mill for a tabletop. So at least it does work. And I'm sure there's a few things we need to do to it. Maybe mess with the wiring up here, and it looked like one of the belts up here may need replaced. But overall, there's one hand wheel. The hand wheel on the right side has a broken handle. I'm right-handed, so it's normal for somebody to want to use this side. So I'll probably just take this hand wheel off here, stick it on the other side, and I think it'll work fine. I don't remember how this was. Okay. Something like this. So this online auction was an estate sale. And when I got there, the guy who had owned all of this equipment, his son was actually there. And he was able to tell me some stories about this lathe. His dad had this lathe ever since he was a child. And he remembered, you know, him and his dad working on this lathe together and using it together. So it sounded like he had definitely had some fond memories of using this as a kid. This is an Atlas, it seems to be an Atlas 12-inch lathe. These are a very common lathe. Hundreds of these, probably thousands of these were made in the United States. This is a fairly common older lathe to find. And it's in excellent shape. I mean, this thing was it almost seems like it's a little dirty. It's got oil and stuff on it, but it's like brand new. There's no wear on the bed whatsoever. This bed right here is completely flat. There's no wear like a lot of older lathes would have. And yeah, everything on this was perfect, it seemed like, until I brought it home. You know, when I went to unload it, it's an awkward load. It was top heavy. It ended up twisting. And the door opened up and hit the truck bed, and it broke the hinge on the door that covers this pulley over here. And that was very disappointing, because it was almost like it was perfect until then. But I'll be able to fix that door, I think. I'll somehow fix that hinge and get the door back on there. But the problem I have right now is that this is wired for 240 volts. So I'm either going to have to rewire the motor, or I'm going to have to wire me up a new plug in here just to be able to test this out and see if it'll work. But looking at it the way it is right now, it looks like it's in good shape. So I wired up a 240 volt plug real quick, and this is just going to be a quick test to see if it spins. This motor is just sitting back here. It's not actually attached. So I'm just going to bump it. It does have a two-way switch on it for forward and reverse. Goes that way. It wants to go that way, but the belt is loose because the motor's not mounted. But it looks like that's going to work. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with my purchase today. So this isn't a name brand mill, this ZX32. The reason I bid on it, there's two main reasons. One, it actually had a 2 horsepower motor, so I thought it was pretty beefy. But the big reason I bid on this is because of everything that came with it. And everything you see lying here, in fact, there's stuff back here you can't see, is the reason why I really bid on it, because it came with all this tooling. Well, I think after today, I pretty much have most of the metalworking tools that I would want. You know, why would I want all these tools? Well, I'm buying all that old farm equipment, and a lot of that stuff does not, you can't find parts for it anymore, right? So I think as I'm working on some of this old equipment and some of the old tractors and stuff, I think this stuff is actually going to come in handy so that I can maybe fabricate some of the parts and pieces that I just can't readily find available. And I think it's just going to come in handy anytime I'm fixing something around here to be able to have the capability of turning a new piece on the lathe or making a new piece here on the mill. I think definitely will be handy for me as I continue to try to fix up our farm equipment here and all that old antique stuff, you know. So that's the reason why I got it. Do I have any machining experience? I have just a little bit. So when I went to college, I did take a little bit of CNC and machining. When my first job out of college, I work industrial maintenance, okay? So I was working in a factory, and we had a machine shop that was part of our maintenance department, and we would fabricate some parts and pieces and stuff on there. So I did use some manual mills and lathes during that time period, but that's probably like 20 years ago, almost. You know, that's 18 years ago. That was the last time I probably used anything like this. So it's been a long time. Definitely a novice, but I kind of have the principles down, and I think I'm ready to learn whatever I need to be able to make what pieces and parts I may need. And I think it'll be fun actually just learning how to use it and making stuff on it. So it's definitely something I enjoyed in the past, and I'm ready to get into it again. So I feel pretty lucky that I got this equipment. I got home from work, and the auction was going to end in about 45 minutes. So I ended up putting some high bids in on this in the mill, and pretty much my high bid, my max bid. But I was going to try to keep an eye on it while I was eating supper. So I was trying to watch it while eating, but then by the time I got done eating supper, it must have not refreshed or something. And I ended up looking at it, and it said bidding was closed, and it had already finished. And the lathe and the mill, I don't know how this happened, they both hit my maximum bid. So it auto bids for me up to my max. And my max bid for both of these was $12.25. And that's the exact price it ended up getting to. So if somebody would have bid, I think at that point in time they would have had to bid another $25. If somebody would have bid another $25 on this or the mill, they would have had it, because it went by and I missed it. I think I was prepared to probably go up close to $1,300 or so for them, but I almost didn't get this stuff. I'm surprised that it worked out the way that it did. So my total bid for everything, all the extra tooling and stuff that I got over there, I ended up being just under $3,000 for my total bid. Plus there was like a 10% buyer's fee. But I feel like that's pretty good, for around $3,000. I think I pretty much rounded out like a home machine shop with all the tooling and everything. You could spend $3,000 just on tooling and fixtures. So I think I got away fairly good to get a mill and a lathe and pretty much everything that goes with it for that price. So I think I'm pretty happy with what I got. It looks like everything's going to work, so I just need to continue to get it set up, and I think this will work out great when I start tearing into equipment. If I need to make any parts or anything for any old farm equipment, I think this will work out pretty good. But anyway, I think that's it for tonight. The sun is going down, and I'm going to have to put the livestock up. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. So here's a closer look of what came with it. It came with a clamping kit. It came with all of these end mills and bits right here in those holders. This is a boring bar bit right there. It came with a magnetic vise. It came with 2 angled vices and then 1 regular vise. It came with all these collets and drill chucks. It even came with this rotary table, and then it came with another set of clamps, plus this is like a precision ground piece of flat cast iron to measure off of. So all this stuff came together. So I thought that was a pretty awesome thing to be able to bid on. So here's some of the other stuff that I bought from the auction. I ended up getting a precision level. This is a huge reamer set, goes all the way up to 1.25 inches. This is a keyway cutter, so it cuts a keyway for like keyed shafts. We've got a bunch of this other stuff is like got little pieces in it for the lathe. It's got lathe accessories in there, lathe accessories in there. We've got some big micrometers, but we ended up getting this machinist toolbox, and it's like completely full of measuring tools and different things that'll definitely come in handy.